Now we will discuss a unit operation called as blanching. Blanching is normally a stream treatment that is given to fruits and vegetables, and it normally fixes the color of these products so that the products do not lose this color eventually in the later operations. It is generally a pre-treatment. That means that food, before going to other operations such as sterilization, dehydration or freezing, it has to be treated with steam before doing those operations on food. It also helps in many other operations such as peeling and cleaning of food. So if we have to, say for example, peel the food, blanching would facilitate the action of peeling because it would soften the outside structure of the food. And same is true for cleaning as well, because if we apply steam on the surface of a food, that would be partially cleaning the surface of food, and then the later cleaning operations would be facilitated. So by all this we mean that blanching is not only an important treatment that increases the quality of food, but it also helps in other operations as well, and it also plays its roles in improving the other operations on food. There are some examples. For example, onions and chillies are exceptions. We do not perform this blanching operations on these two vegetables, but most of the other fruits and vegetable products have to be blanched. This is quite a necessary step that has to be taken, and the level of blanching or the time and temperature of blanching would depend upon different factors. For example, the type of fruit and vegetable, it would depend upon what type of fruits and vegetable we are dealing here, and the blanching would be different for different types of fruits and vegetable. Again, the size of the vegetable also matters. For example, whether we are blanching the peas, which are the smaller spherical in nature, or whether we are blanching some other vegetables, for example okra, so they have got different physical dimensions, size, surface area, so that has to be considered. Then we need to look at the temperature, the blanching temperature that are desirable for certain products, because every product is different and the quality parameters are different, and the temperature and the blanching treatment has to be different for every fruit or vegetable product. Again, method of heating is also important. We'll discuss there are different methods of heating, and they have got different implications on different food products. Another thing important is that freezing and dehydration are two unit operations that can actually prolong the shelf life of food for a very long time. For example, food can be frozen for a very long time, and similarly the dehydrated fruits and vegetable and product, they have got a longer shelf life. But if we do not perform blanching operation for these frozen products or dehydrated products, there are enzymes, they are not inactivated by freezing temperature or by dehydration conditions. By that I mean that these food, once they are stored under freezer, or whether they are retained in a normal temperature, for example these dehydrated food, there would be enzymes, they would be bringing down the quality of these food during even freezing or dehydration. So because these temperatures or conditions are not suitable to inactivate all the enzymes, and the blanching would inactivate many of the enzymes by heat treatment, so the quality of the food can be maintained for a longer time. As I said that blanching is very important, but if we do not perform this action properly, or if we have an improper blanching or blanching at a lower temperature or for a shorter time, it might be equally bad, rather worse than the blanching operation, because if the food is not properly blanched, that would mean that we are heating the food, we are the structure of the foods and the cellular structure has been broken. There is a release of internal component of the cells and the other structures. So that would actually activate the enzymes rather than inactivation. This higher, comparatively less higher temperature would activate many enzymes. The enzymes would have the substrate available due to the injury to the food, and then this would be actually spoiling the food quickly rather than preserving. So blanching must be done properly. For example, there are enzymes like lipoxygenase enzymes, polyphenoloxidases, these are the enzymes present, polygalacturonase and chlorophyllase. These are the enzymes present in most of the fruits and vegetables, and they actually deteriorate the eating quality of any food. So if they are properly blanched, they are properly inactivated, the food quality would be maintained for a longer time. There are two other enzymes very much present in many of the fruits and vegetables. These are catalase and peroxidase enzymes. They are also heat resistant, and they are marker enzymes as well, because in order to know whether the food has been properly blanched or not, we need to look at the presence of these enzymes, and they can actually tell us about the level of blanching that has been done on the food. Another benefit of blanching is that it actually reduces the contamination of microbes on the food, because the steam would have effect and it would be destroying some of the pathogens and some of the microorganisms from the surface of fruits and vegetables. And it also, once we start with the lower load of pathogens by the action of blanching, then the next operation, especially the sterilization and freezing, would be easier, because we start with the lower amount of pathogens or microorganisms. Then the subsequent operations are easier, because in case of sterilization we need to calculate the amount of heat given to the food, and that depends upon the initial number of pathogens within the food. So this would reduce our cost in terms of heating, the need for space and other equipments. So this is an extra benefit of blanching operation. Now look at the methods. What methods are used for blanching? A routine method is a hot water bath. The fruits and vegetables, they are passed through hot water bath, maybe through a conveyor belt or any other operations. This is one routinely used method. Another is we use chambers in which we have saturated steam, so the food passes through these chambers of saturated streams. Microwaves are another possibility. The people have been using the microwave. It's not commercially available, but they can be used for blanching of these fruits and vegetables, because of the fact that in other operations we normally leave the water that interacts with these fruits and vegetables, and they are effluent released from these industries doing blanching. And afterwards, it's also important that once the food has been blanched, it must be immediately cooled down to a lower temperature to maintain the quality of these fruits and vegetables and any other products blanched. So this was all about blanching, the way it is done, the benefits that we achieve by blanching fruits and vegetables.